Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Starting 11 here on the Let's Get Ready Network. I'm Adelia. That's my buddy Snark. I'm not very happy this week, Snark. I don't know about you.
I was mean mugging the camera there. Since trying to express my, I don't know if it's anger, more frustration. For me, more frustration because a lot of this, we knew it was coming. All we seem to talk about on the show every week is how inconsistent the officiating is, and it rears its ugly head for both our favorite clubs this week, Adelia.
Yeah.
So, and the good news was your team's match was the very first one of the week. So there was this cloud on the whole week, right from an hour or so into this first match of the week, week 3 here, the Premier League. Arsenal.
I never knew I could be this angry at 7:30 in the morning.
Oh, well, yes, Arsenal and Brighton. I will say, Arsenal looked very good in the first half. Because Brighton is looking like I'm surprised by how well Brighton's been playing. I'm gonna admit that, but Arsenal played very well. They get a great goal in the first half, Kai Havertz, and I would say it's a goal very reminiscent of Cole Palmer's goal from last week against Wolves, but this time it's Saka finding Havertz in space, and that back line for Brighton just stopping for whatever reason.
Yeah.
You get the timid deer to run forward there, and maybe a bad decision for Bruggen to come forward there to go to the edge of the box, but it's a nice chip over him by Havertz for a 1-0 lead going to the half. Just before the half, Declan Rice makes a terrible sliding tackle.
Oh, this tackle getting a yellow card, I have no issues with. It was terrible. I thought for a minute there that he might have been lucky just to get a yellow for that, but it was a yellow card.
Yeah,
it was pretty close. It wasn't necessarily such a bad challenge as it was with the speed he did it with. That was the problem. Yeah. I had no issues with this being a yellow card.
No. And let's also, I guess we should go for a little bit of context. João Pedro at one point in this
oh my god,
in this first half, there's a dead ball, kick for Arsenal. He hoofs the ball down past the length of the pitch.
Yes.
Now let's cut to the second half, and I'm sure everything is going to be called straight down the middle exactly.
No, of course not. It never is. Never is.
So, who was it? Is it Yul Veltman that had the ball in the corner? Yeah. And they had Rice has it. He gives up the ball to Veltman. Veltman then flops down to get the free kick. It's awarded. The ball's kind of in their feet. I will say this. Declan Rice definitely nudges the ball away, but I think that was just being petulant, and this is why you got to use your head a little bit. He's just being petulant and just taps it. Just gives it a little tappy. A tapperoo.
Very different to what João Pedro had done in the first half.
And the ball had never stopped moving.
Never stopped moving. Couldn't have been taken as a quick free kick.
Veltman gets up, he sees the ball moving, and just swipes at it to say he was doing a free kick. Absolutely, it kicks Rice in the shin. I think Rice tries to make a meal out of that one, though, as well. But Rice gets up and gets a second yellow card. Sent off for the first time in his career.
Yeah. And all of this, well, it was done by the letter of the law. This is what the rules say. So Declan Rice can't argue with this. Excuse me, common sense can argue with this.
Yeah.
He did not kick the ball down the field as João Pedro did in the first half.
Yep.
He did not stop Veltman from taking a quick free kick. You've got Brighton players. I don't know who said it, but it's very clear on the audio. Brighton player going, "That's a second yellow."
Mm-hmm.
And then Chris Kavanagh comes over and makes himself the star of the show, as all referees must, and gives Declan Rice a second yellow for that. And Declan was shocked. I don't blame him for being shocked because, as we learned in the first half, you can kick the ball down the pitch and not get penalized under this obscure rule that I don't care if the clubs were made aware of it. It's not being enforced until an Arsenal player does it. Like, come on.
Maybe he should have just kicked it down the pitch.
Maybe
that is definitely not a card. It's definitely not a card. You can say, like, look, you just let this go. Like, João Pedro did it not 15 minutes ago.
I was also really surprised there was not a yellow card for Veltman for kicking out at Declan Rice like that.
Yeah.
Like,
just for being a jerk.
Like, I understand that they reviewed it and it's not a red card. That's fine. It should still have been a yellow card for Veltman.
Yeah, like Kavanagh had his eye on something. Kavanagh wanted to affect the match.
Yeah.
Like, he was going out there to, I don't know if his mom was in the stands or something like that, and he was a very proud boy, and, wanted to show off a little bit. Maybe there was a girl he liked or something like that. I thought it was cute. It's like, look what I can do. Look what I can do this match.
It's ridiculous, and, like, it's just utterly ridiculous. Common sense refereeing to me is doing what you can to calm down flashpoint situations and keep all 11 players on the pitch for both teams, unless it's absolutely, clear that somebody needs to get sent off. If the number of people that are trying to justify this is a clear sending off for Declan Rice for a second yellow is really frustrating to me because it's not common sense.
Yeah, it's not a clear yellow card, not anymore. No. It's a clear yellow card if we don't have human referees. Obviously, if you see something like that where there's a little tap and stuff like that, it's a little petulant and stuff like that, you say like something else like this, and you're not like you're given a yellow for a bad challenge, sure, but just something like that when you're not awarding it for like obviously a worse infraction in the first half, if you want to call it time wasting for kicking the ball away.
I heard someone say that that's not time wasting what João Pedro did because the ball was off the pitch.
How are you going to kick the ball if it's down the pitch?
Exactly.
Like why would they throw another one?
The ball was right off the pitch, and there was not an Arsenal player in the vicinity. Like, so the whole problem here is that Veltman was in the vicinity. Like, there's nothing wrong with what Declan Rice did. You cannot convince me there's something wrong with what Declan Rice did. Certainly not enough to get a second yellow card.
Yeah, I would say you don't give him a second yellow card for that. I could see, like, if you wanted to send a message to both teams that I'm not going to put up with this shit, that yes, there's a yellow card. It's like, listen, enough of this. But
fine, yellow card for Declan. There should have been a yellow card for João Pedro, and I'm still confused as to why there was no yellow card for Veltman.
Yeah, it's just consistency. How can these guys have been referees and come to this level? And what we keep mentioning is the greatest football federation in the world. Again, the English Premier League is the apex. This is what everyone should aspire to get to. How can it have such poor refereeing? How can it have such ego-driven refereeing? Why? How is this possibly about them?
Yeah.
How can this possibly? We should never know your names. We should never know who Chris Kavanagh is in a million years.
We shouldn't know.
Ridiculous.
Say hey to Jose, who's in the chat. What's up, Jose?
Hi, Jose. So it takes what 12 minutes or something like that. It's João Pedro, of course. Yeah, 12.
João Pedro. Man of the match.
Well, it's a big rebound. Raya gives up there, but your man down, he kept it covered. Minte with the shot. It's a goal. Arsenal still look good. They look good. Yeah. Down. I
don't have a problem with our performance.
Yeah, the performance was good.
I mean, the finishing maybe could have been a little better, but I don't have a problem with the performance. The Declan Rice thing is going to make me so angry for the next 2 weeks because we have a week off now, and then we have to go to Tottenham without Declan Rice.
I was gonna say, it's the big one, of the matches you have, probably the one of the two that you look forward to the most, of course, is the home, and then the away against Spurs.
Yeah, I would
You
say
get that.
of the
No
away games
Declan Rice.
play,
Like who's your who's a defensive midfielder for you guys? Who are they going to put in there? Jorginho.
Jorginho probably.
Yeah.
Mikel Merino's injured.
Yep. That's a very Arsenal thing. That was
it is.
tremendously
It was
Arsenal
an
thing.
incredibly Arsenal thing to hear that Mikel Merino signed for the club and got injured in his first training session because one of the Gabbies landed on top of him.
Gabriel lands on top of him. Was he cracked his shoulder blade or something? Oh my god.
Yeah.
But here's some good news. You guys picked up a winger, exactly what you need. I know something about it. But this winger,
with the number of players that we let leave, we needed someone. Yeah. I'm fine with it being someone that actually has Premier League experience in Raheem Sterling.
Sure. And he's he's a good set piece. Yeah, he can kick a good set piece. I can tell you that. Yeah. Some decisions with the ball inside the box these days are questionable. And lots of people laughing at Chelsea because they got no transfer fee, and Arsenal's only paying up 100,000 a month. It's like, well, he was sitting for 350,000. Might as well sit for 250,000. Who cares?
That's a week, not a month. But I would still like to know how Edu. I would still like to know how Edu pulled that one off. No transfer fee, just
help,
like you
help yourself.
Yeah,
$400,000 a month saved for Chelsea. So there you go. That's good. You know what they call that? A good bit of business. To hear that.
That's exactly why you brought in Jadon Sancho instead.
I have no words. Oh, but the price was good. The price is good on Sancho. Sure. Only 25.
That obligation to buy.
Yeah, 25 million. So we get, we can have our complement of 8 wingers or whatever. There's only 2 winger spots, but we got 8 of them now. Whatever it is.
You guys have so many players.
On the one side, Mudryk, Neto, Sancho, João Felix. I'm still convinced they're gonna make him a 9 somehow. And after his shot from the weekend, you see, yikes. Yeah, there's trouble. We'll talk about those. Dummies that I cheer for a little later on. Okay. Yeah. Also,
one last note on Arsenal. Aaron Ramsdale left for Southampton. Good on him. I wish him well.
I liked his little his disguise he had when he went to go see them earlier last week.
Disguise when he went to go see him. Yeah, it was funny. And Eddie Nketiah to Crystal Palace.
Yeah,
wish him
good
well.
Bit of business for them.
Yeah, and we sent out Reece Nelson on loan too.
Fulham.
I don't know why anybody wanted Reece Nelson, but we sent Reece Nelson.
Maybe Emil Smith Rowe was missing him or something like that. It's like, I need a
They can field the front 3 of all former academy kids at Arsenal now with the Iwobi, Emil, and Reece. So
I saw AC Milan can do that now too. But that's a different league.
Yep.
All right. We'll move on. On before you get even more frustrated.
It's gonna stay for weeks now, man.
Speaking of frustrating, this match sure wasn't. It's Ipswich and Fulham. It's like, okay, these guys played. I did send a text in the morning or whatever, a message on our Discord. Only $1 to join our Discord, by the way. About Liam Delap's goal or whatever for Ipswich. It's a nice one. Of course, he just comes in from Liverpool. But it's a Traore leveling it 17 minutes later. So yeah, that's it. That's all. That's all the scoring. 32 minutes.
It was a fantastic goal from Liam Delap, though.
I loved it. I thought it was. Yeah, I really liked it. Yeah. Everything about it was good. Class. So it's Ipswich Town's first points since 2002 in the Premier League. So good for you. First point I guess I should say.
Good for them.
Yeah, good for them. All right, moving on. Brentford and Southampton. Speaking of Southampton.
Speaking of Aaron Ramsdale.
Yeah. Speaking of that match I said just before. Anyways, Ivan Toney gets sold. Finally, the Toney saga is over. He's going to the Sallies to El Ackley. 40 million euros. That's all.
Yeah. Nobody wanted him.
Color me impressed.
Nobody wanted
that's
him
the thing.
for the price that Brentford wanted for him.
And he's a little prickly. He's
yes, he is.
Maybe not the best. Anyways, he did stick around to watch his old club, though. He got to stick around. That. Yeah, it was nice of him. He got to see a brace from, what is it? One of my top 3 favorite names in the Premier League, Brian Mbumo. Also scores. Poor Yukinari Sugawara scoring just at the death, basically, of the game to take away Mark Flecken's clean sheet. That's always the way, isn't it? So we could say Aaron Ramsdale's the Aaron Ramsdale era at Southampton. Not off to a great start.
Do they have much of a defense in front of him? I don't think they.
I don't know if they have anybody actually. I think they were just. I think there was 4 mannequins out on the pitch. Then and it was just like in those table hockey things, just one guy in a pole or whatever, just moving them back and forth. Not great.
It's going to be a long season for Southampton.
Speaking of long seasons, Leicester at home against Villa, and I think I may have in the episode we did just before the season started, our season preview episode, I may not have said very nice things about Amadou Onana, and now I'm afraid I have to go eat my shoe or something like that because he's
been great for Villa so far.
He scores again. He's so big, and I love the celebration with going to the watch and crowning himself like Napoleon. He's the emperor of the Premier League. John Duran also scores. He subbed after, of course, subbing in for Ollie Watkins.
And Ollie Watkins had some fantastic chances in this game.
He had some good chances in the first half. And that's been his MO now. So far this season, he has looked good, but he is not getting the finish. It's not like last year where things just happen for him. He's working. Yeah. You can see the work. And not like the Euros and stuff like that. You can see the work. He's just not getting any results. Let's see. It was Bonanati getting the goal for the Foxes. Now, Edson Edouard is going to Leicester. He gets there from Palace on loan because Palace started bringing in all kinds of people. All right, we'll get to, I'll wait till we'll talk about this other guy. And then the important news, I guess, for them is that an independent appeals board has overturned the decision that they had breached the PSR rules.
I don't think that it was that they hadn't breached it. It's that the independent commission that put up the charges against them didn't have the right to do so, according to the appeals.
Strange. They said, they said because the Leicester's books ended June 30th or something like that, and they said, well, because of this, and this couldn't have happened. So okay, very strange. I thought it was strange that they would be going in for something that happened 2 years ago, anyways. But whatever. They're a vindictive bunch, except when it comes to City. When it comes to City, we'll see.
When it comes to
Chelsea's going to get it. Chelsea's going to get it. Chelsea's going to get it. Chelsea's going to get a transfer ban. They're going to get like a 2-year transfer ban, and that's why you're seeing these crazy contracts. I have that feeling. That's why I think they know what's coming to them. They're not going to get dock points like City are probably relegated, but we'll see. We'll see if they do anything. I think their lawyers are pretty good there too. Now,
will City, anything happen to City? No, that's where I've landed on this.
Okay, Forest and Wolves. Chris Wood scoring again. Chris Wood, he's having a fine season. Jean Rickner Belgarda levels it just a couple minutes later, and then both teams were fine with that. We got we put in a good 12 minutes here, guys. Let's just kind of coast for the rest of this. Now,
that's basically what the game was.
Nottingham Forest getting James Ward-Prowse from West Ham on loan for the rest of the year. Maybe that'll do something for good old James Ward-Prowse, who can take a free kick. He's really good at that. He's good at finding people. Just getting buried in West Ham. Nothing seems to be working for him. Now maybe he gets Morgan Gibbs-White and maybe Callum Hudson-Odoi. Maybe those guys up front, what they need, or maybe it's just more of the same from James Ward-Prowse, who has taken a pretty steep nosedive since about, I guess he started off last season pretty well, but after that, he really went off a cliff. It's too bad.
Yeah.
Too bad. Okay, West Ham, City. City ends up scoring 4 goals in this one. You know, three for themselves, I guess, and then there's one Jared Bowen kicks it, and then it goes off of Ruben Diaz, who's sliding in for some reason. It looks like it's a pass going right across the thing too. It definitely wasn't a shot. If it was a shot, then yikes, Jared Bowen.
Yeah.
But Erling Haaland turns out is good at football.
Yeah. Second straight hat trick. Like,
yeah, Chelsea's got to feel pretty good. Finisher. Chelsea's got to feel pretty good. They've only given up 1 to him, not 3.
Yeah.
They're the only team to do that all year.
I hate City's away kit. Can I just say that?
It's terrible.
Terrible. It's awful.
Come on. It's awful. Ridiculous. You guys think with all the, money you guys have stashed everywhere, you could get a better away kit. Oh, well.
Yeah.
I believe that's 71 goals now as well for Haaland through 69 matches. The guy averages more than a goal a game. Sucks. Everything sucks about that. Terrible. Anyways, speaking of terrible, Adelia, I saved this match. I skipped over a couple matches so I can use this match for the last Saturday match. Everton. Everton Bournemouth.
Could not believe the end of this match. Like, I thought this was a pretty entertaining match up until, basically stoppage time. And then I felt so bad for Everton after this, except not really, because it's Everton and they seem to do this a lot.
Yeah, they had this coming to them. Yeah, that's why you play, supposed to play 90 plus and not 85. They did play good. Maybe even deserved, to score 4 or 5 goals. Kepa comes in to Bournemouth. He gives up a couple, but Everton have 8 good chances to score. Kepa made some real good saves, especially in the first half. The one that was looking like it was going to go between his legs, and he just closes them up real quick or whatever, like a hockey goalie. Now they go up 2, and Don Calvert-Lewin also scores for the first time, I think, this year, right? Michael Keane scores. Everything looks good, and it's 87 minutes in, and when Semenyo scores, Goodison Park goes quiet. It's like almost like they know it's
my commentator said this might set up a nervy finish here. Goodison. Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's what happened.
Sinestro with a lovely little cross over to Lewis Cook, and it's knotted up at 2. That's in the the 2nd minute of extra time, and then at the death, the absolute death. This is the last kick that can happen, and it's Justin Kluivert, of all people, from just outside the box, curling the crossover to Sinestro's head for the winner. When that whistle went, I thought that poor old building was going to crumble down just from the booze. Like, I thought it, like it hit the brown note. It was just going to knock everything down. It was
3 goals in 9
a dark day in Everton's history. 3. Yeah. Oh my goodness. And to lose it like that, like when you're going home 2-0, like the one thing that jumped into my head was the Chelsea match against Man U last year. But we were at home and won. You know what I mean? To give up goals like that at home to lose. Oh, like how does Dyche look him in the eyes after this? How can you? Know. Like he'd be so incredibly disappointed. And I guess this is why you get paid every week, because you have to go back in and do it again. I feel bad. They've talked about somebody else losing their job right away. I just don't see how. How do you keep him? How do you keep John Dyche to that?
I don't know.
Sure, he's kept you up, but something like that. That's a season killer. They're still looking for their first point now. Awful. And only 3 matches in. Incredible. Here's some good news though for the Evertonians. Here's some good news for you guys on the Merseyside. Armando Broya is gonna join you guys. on loan for the rest of the season if he's ever not hurt.
I'm sure
Ever
they're
in a million years.
thrilled.
Well, they got to do something
They
because
do have to do something.
yeah, Dom Calverlin did score, I guess, but
He
now they
did.
can have Broya miss chances too.
Yeah.
I get it. It'll be good. Speaking of good,
Poor Everton.
speaking of good,
I think
we're
we're
gonna go
gonna
to the
say
Sunday.
stuff like this a lot this year.
Yeah, poor Everton. You're gonna say it a bit until it's like, well, you had it coming. Like, how did you guys stay up for this long? Anyways, we'll go to the good part. Sunday first for me. Newcastle at home. They're at St. James Park. They get Spurs. Big win, I would imagine, for Newcastle here. Considering it probably shouldn't have happened because Spurs dominated them, especially in the first half. They were all over them, but they go down 1-0 because of Harvey Barnes. But a great pass from Lloyd Kelly down low. You can find him up high or whatever, coming into the box. Really nice. Spurs get that goal back. Another own goal this time. It's Brennan Johnson kicking it into Dan Burn. Dan Burn decides to kick it into the top of his own net.
Yeah, I was wondering what he was doing there. I was like, well, you just basically confirmed it was going to be an own goal with that.
Yeah, he's like, if this is gonna go in, I'm gonna make sure it goes in. Unbelievable.
The first when I watched it live, the first thing I thought was he just kicked that into his own net. Like, what was he doing? And then I realized,
he went bar down
to the very top of the net. But I was like, what is he doing there?
Where grandma keeps the cookies, Adelia. And then the winner, though, and your winner, on the on the counter attack here. I think that's the first time I'll ever say this. What a pass by Joe Linton to find Jacob Murphy.
Fantastic pass.
Yeah, and a really, I'll say this, a really unselfish pass by Jacob Murphy in the box or whatever. He probably could have shot and scored, but he knew that Isaac had a clear shot at that. So good pass over and a good goal. Newcastle, again, like, we don't know who Newcastle is. They're probably good, right?
I mean, who knows?
One thing, and this is what I was going to mention.
I did pick them to beat Spurs, though. So
yeah, you did. Oh yeah, we're going to talk about because I know what you're saying. I've read the newspapers, Adelia. I know you think that I'm maybe a little bit dumb when it comes to some technology stuff, but I was looking through that sleeper app, and I saw like I could actually go back and see what everybody else picked. So I actually have proper scores for the week. I'm going to tell you this. Okay. Spoiler alert, I didn't do great. Okay, let's move on. Chelsea and Crystal Palace. I know what you're thinking.
Talk to me about this.
You thinking I'm going to be upset at the result? Yeah. Sorry. Before I do that, I'm going to go real quick. Newcastle tried to give outrageous money to Palace for Mark Gahey, and they still didn't let him go. And then they go and sign Trevor Chalobah on loan for us a year or two. Very odd bit of business by Crystal Palace, letting £60 million go for Mark Gahey when you were going to bring in Chalobah anyways.
It was very strange.
They didn't want Chelsea to have another 15 million or whatever we would have made from that sale, which is crazy. Anyways,
yeah.
Back to Chelsea, back to Palace. Yeah, Maresca, Enzo Maresca says that they deserved to win the match. I disagree. I think they should have won the match. And everything changes, of course, from an official. But how many chances do you have to blow? We had the goal we score, great, and what a pass by Palmer to get it across. Even Nicholas Jackson couldn't miss that one because he misses two others, maybe three. The third one was kind of whatever, but two really good chances. He probably should have buried at least one of. Noni Madueke misses two great chances. Unbelievable chances. Like again, Chelsea can score 5 goals in this one easy, but they can't. They can't finish, and also they can't score again. They can't do anything against a low block. It's been going on. This is the 3rd season now. This is the third season, fourth, fifth manager that can't figure out how to crack the low block. You just, well, because everybody we have are so damn small. Not physical enough and don't want to get into the dirty areas. We got too many wingers. Nobody wants to go in the middle. All our wingers are undersized. Lots of speed. They can do all that. But who's going to go up there and just get the ball into the net? It was Nicholas Jackson had the one header this year. He had 2 cracks at them this past game. One going right up on top of his head, looping, easy catch. Like, you have to force the ball in. Not just go, oh, I got it. It's not, it's not ladybugs out there, for goodness sakes. Got to go a little harder. So, let's go to the maybe the frustrating part here. Will Hughes on a yellow card. Lots of people getting yellow. He's throwing out yellow cards for anything. One thing a person got a yellow card for was grabbing a guy by the arm. The guy stopped like this. Neto gets a yellow card for that. It's near the front of the net.
Yeah.
Let's go to the second half, or shall we? Just as the second half begins.
Second half, yeah.
Will Hughes, who's been a piece of crap all game, clutching ground. He got the one yellow card, and then the whistle for some reason has to stay in the pocket. Cole Palmer, of all people, beats him. He's got his arm grabbed, then his shirt grabbed, and pulled down while he's heading in for a scoring chance on net.
Yeah, I was really surprised there's
no yellow card
here.
There's no yellow. Hope maybe if we just put the ball at his foot and got him to nudge it a little bit, that would have been a straight yellow card. And a yellow card and sent off. Maybe a straight red. Maybe that's a straight red now. Maybe this is the trick. Maybe. Absolutely just tackle people to the ground. Maybe push them and punch them. You're not going to get a call. What is it going to take? Like, it's to give a second yellow for something as insignificant as what happened with Declan Rice. And to not give it to Hughes in that position. Incredible. Of course, after that, SA scores, and I can't say anything bad about that strike. It was a heck of a goal. That's the only chance, really, that Chelsea gave up the entire match. I thought defensively they played much better than they did against Wolves in that first half. It looked like they continued on from their second half performance, which was much better. They were okay against City. But yeah, they looked actually pretty good here against Palace, just that one thing. And of course, Sanchez diving. How does someone dive in slow motion? You know what I mean? It's like he's like practicing for his, his highlight reels or something like that. Yeah,
I'm still trying to figure out how Robert Sanchez got that job back.
I don't know, quite as bad on a podcast.
You guys sent.
Sometimes I just want to hit myself
on loan.
Yeah. So there's all kinds of guys on loan. Kep's on loan. Petrick's on loan. We keep signing all kinds of kids. This one kid or whatever, this last kid we signed. Oh yeah. Remember Gabby Slonina? Remember him? He's out on loan.
I do. He's unbelievable. On loan too. You have a lot of goalkeepers.
Yeah, just
somehow Robert Sanchez is the starter.
Yeah, this kid we signed is like 6'7" or something. And the one from Genk. Yeah, the Dutch kid. We'll see. Anyways, Chelsea gets a point out of it. That's why I kept the thing up. It's like they played okay. It's just enough is enough. And speaking of finishing, so they leave it to the last damn possible minute to try and get a striker. They could either go with Tony. They decide, no, we're not going to do that. Even though some people are saying, oh, they're kicking the tires on him. No, they're all in for Osman. Osman, who has a wage 5 times more than they want to pay. So they're trying to work things out with him for one day. They try and do it for one day. They're doing the thing they did with Enzo Fernandez. You know what I mean? Like they put some feelers in and then they make a push. They think they're going to bully the Napolis into giving up Osman and Osman's agent to do it. And Osman's agent is nuts. He's crazy. So, like, they can't even work out a loan. How do you not work out a loan for him? He ends up taking a loan Turkey.
Galatasaray.
For Galatasaray for £10,000 a week more than Chelsea was offering. And they signed him for yet another year. And then they dropped the fee or whatever, the transfer fee by half. It's unbelievable. It's frustrating. You need him. You need a striker, and they're not looking at Georgios. Like, they aren't looking at anybody else. I don't even want to just had Jonathan David. Like, why don't you just go get Jonathan David? I know you look like crap over here, but in the Copa America, but he plays well in France. Maybe play well in England. Yeah, probably not. That's just crazy stuff. So.
Shout out Brennan. Thanks for subscribing over on Twitch. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. So what do they do? They get Jadon Sancho. We've talked about it, though, because that's the one thing that Chelsea was lacking was depth wingers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
ones that perform at such a high level is Jadon Sancho.
Well, talking about high performers. They signed Nicholas Jackson through to 2033. They give him the same term as Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer, who all he does is show up and be great. Nicholas Jackson shows up.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. He's always just going to be there. So why not pay him? It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Anyways, Jared Gillette. Another official who's, thinking it's all about him. All these officials should just wear masks. They should wear like luchador masks, so no one ever knows who they are, so they can just call the thing. Anyways, whatever. Okay.
Anyway,
because there was another match. Chelsea
this
didn't
was my favorite
themselves.
match of the weekend.
Chelsea did not embarrass themselves. United, though.
No.
United embarrassed themselves at Old Trafford.
Yes, they did.
And I think even more, if you want to go a little more specifically, Casemiro.
Oh my goodness!
I
love that thing you put in the Discord that said, if you're ever feeling down on yourself, just remember that Man United paid £70 million for Casemiro.
People can say what they want about Mudryk and stuff like that. It just doesn't cost games like Casemiro. Anyways, Luis Diaz, just buy him all day. Did nothing. Now, it's Casemiro's fault on the first goal, and he just decides to give it to Ryan Gravenberch. He then just passes up to Salah. He gets the cross over to Diaz, and Diaz puts it in. Diaz almost runs into Szoboszlai. That's the only way that goal was going to get stopped, because there was nobody else for United in the box.
Yep.
I don't know what they were having a picnic lunch or something like that. Outside,
this is after they had a goal disallowed. Trent Alexander-Arnold for offside.
Because
so
Salah puts his foot out for some reason when he's off to touch it. An odd decision, but no harm, no foul for Mo Salah in this game, who I think he had the 2 assists as well as the goal. And it's a quick give and go between Luis Diaz and Salah for the second Diaz goal. Casemiro only makes it 45 minutes. This has got to be that's his last start at Old Trafford, right? Yeah, he's going to be.
He got yanked at halftime for a 20-year-old kid who'd never played in the Premier League before.
Yeah. It's in that second goal. Diaz just pushes him off the ball. It's like he's nothing. Diaz was half the size of Casemiro. Yeah. Maybe that's a problem. Because Luis Diaz was literally half the size of Casemiro. It's Toby Collier, the guy that replaces him. Yeah, he looked about the same size as Luis Diaz. So, but United start off the second half fine. They're fine.
They're all right.
10 minutes. And then it's Kobe Mainoo getting, again, just muscled off the ball. Alexis McAllister, again. Kobe Mainoo, Alexis McAllister. Alexis McAllister decides he wants the ball more than Kobe Mainoo. Gets it to Szoboszlai. And then it's over to Salah. And it's 3-0. And Arne Slot again, I think I may have disparaged Liverpool in our season preview a little bit. Still lots of the season to go, but he has them looking pretty good right now. Even if it's basically just Klopp's, team.
Yeah, it's the Klopp's team.
What they expect? Oh, and they got Kiza coming from Juventus, so he can come off the bench at some point. Let's see. Mo Salah at the end of the match just casually puts it out there. This is probably his last year at Liverpool.
Yeah, just tells that to Sky. Yeah,
because totally no one has gone up to him to see if they want to renew his contract. I don't see how that could possibly be true.
If that's true,
how can you do this if you're them? Well, he's 32, sure. He's your best player. He's still your best player. It's not even close. Yeah. Like, you can say what you want about Virgil van Dijk.
Who's going to take his place in that starting lineup if he leaves? Darwin Nunez? That's not going to go well.
It'll be Nunez. Oh my god. Maybe they can get Kiza to do it.
My favorite quote after the game, though, was when Erik ten Hag was talking about how Manuel Ugarte is going to need to build his fitness before he actually plays. And he said,
Harry Potter.
I'm not Harry Potter. And then there was someone who responded to a tweet about that on Twitter that said if Harry Potter had 600 million pounds plus at his disposal, Voldemort wouldn't have gotten past the first book.
That's true. Did you see his press conference? There was a Manchester reporter who absolutely tore into him. Like the reporter sounded angry at him just because Erik ten Hag is a football coach. He's a guy who's he's going to think very highly of himself, obviously, and he says the problems that United are having aren't coaching problems. And then that's when the reporters start going off.
Poorly coached teams I've seen in a while.
Yeah, and but the first thing the guy says is, what about all the giveaways and stuff like that? It's like, you're gonna blame a coach for players giving the ball away? That's the one thing you can't blame a coach for. It's the very first thing he says. So I think this guy was just trying to let off some steam. It's like, maybe this guy shouldn't be in the, in the press corps for a little bit here. Yeah. Maybe he could take a breather for a bit till he gets his bearings and realizes he's supposed to be a journalist of all things first. And as for ten Hag, like all the higher ups there are saying all the right things, stuff like that. It's like, this is our guy. This is the guy we want. Even the new sporting directors, like, we've only been here for 3 games or whatever, but we've been blown away by this guy and blah 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 blah. So we'll see. Drama at Old Trafford. I thought I'd never see it.
Long may it continue, as far as I'm concerned.
That'd be so nice. That'd be so nice. All right. Yep. So let's go. Right. Let's go into talking about the results over here on Sleeper. I got 5 matches correct. I am impressed that I did get a draw right. You, Adelia, got 6, which is pretty good. Between us, great. Mm-hmm. Young Ferris Muthana got 7 right. And I circled that number. Is like, oh, this guy had to have won. No, that darn Trevor Matson gets 8 right this week. The 2 he got wrong was he chose his own team, of course, Spurs, of course, and he chose your team. So there you go. Those are the only 2 he got wrong. I've done my picks on Sleeper already.
Picks too.
Okay, so let's have a quick look here. We're at Sleeper. I can tell you that
these are for the games in 2 weeks because there's no matches this upcoming week because it's an interlull, as they say on one of the Arsenal podcasts I follow.
I think people can't stand this break. Like the season's just getting going, and you're already pulling them apart.
3 weeks. Why do we need to have an international break?
It's ridiculous. Okay. Yeah, but I did get to see pictures of Jadon Sancho training for the other guys that aren't on international duty this week, so that's good.
How thrilling.
Yeah, so the match week starts once again with Southampton at home to the aforementioned Manchester United.
As much as Manchester United is a mess, they are not as bad as Southampton, so I went with Man United.
I thought the exact same way. All right. Brighton at home at the Amex to Ipswich Town.
Brighton.
Yeah, Brighton. Palace is going to be at home to the Foxes.
Palace.
Palace I picked as well. Over at Craven Cottage, a little London derby here that no one gives two craps about. Fulham and West Ham.
I went draw.
Okay, I picked West Ham because you can't ever trust Fulham. All right.
Yeah.
Although West Ham didn't look great against City. Speaking of City, they get Brentford.
City.
Yeah, City. Brentford's still scoring goals, but yeah, they have to stop one guy from doing it. It's going to be tough. Liverpool at home to Forest.
Liverpool.
Liverpool's going to be Forest. Aston Villa gets to stay at home and entertain Everton.
Villa.
Villa. Chelsea go on the road. They're not going to face their old friend Kepa. They're going to get the backup, I guess, now. Chelsea and Bournemouth.
I went Chelsea because I have no idea who the backup goalkeeper is for Bournemouth.
I can't remember. I went Chelsea, of course, as well. Now, let's skip that one for one quick sec. We'll go Wolves and Newcastle. Is that the Molyneux? Yeah, Newcastle should win that. Yes, the North London derby. This time taking place at the, vaunted and hallowed Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Oh, boy. I'm still going Arsenal.
Oh, yeah.
We're a better team than Tottenham is.
Yeah,
even if Declan Rice isn't playing.
You guys, Tottenham's going to play that high line, so you just have to get ball deep anyway. So, I don't know what they even need that for. Oh, before we go, what did you think of the late overtures from Saudi to try and pull Trossard out of Arsenal? I thought that was a little cute thing to do.
I thought that was funny. We were never going to let him go.
Yeah.
So nice try. I'm sure he would have loved the money, but no.
I think he'd be fine making what he's making. Yeah. Chelsea lose Angelo to the Saudis. Yeah, I will remember that era well. Never kicked a professional ball for us, I don't believe. And we sold him for 7 million euros more than we bought him for. So there you go. This is why Chelsea spends money, because we're so good at making it. All right, and that's it. Week off. We're back in 2 weeks, Adelia, and this, it was a lot of fun. As frustrating as this bloody week was, I can tell you that.
Absolutely. Anytime that Man United gets embarrassed at Old Trafford, regardless of what else has happened, it's going to be a good week.
That's true. I'd like to have seen City trip up, though. Yeah, maybe not.
I would have too, but they were never going to lose to West Ham, or not even going to draw against West Ham. So,
no, all right.
All right, Snark, where can people find you?
Ooh, find me over on the Entertainment Network. You and I talk Buffy the Vampire Slayer on Rewatchers Council. Those go out Thursdays, and we're right at the end, season 2, Adelia. And we're going to be talking about the last episode with Brennan Marr. That'll be coming up next week. That'll be next week when that airs. LGRN after Snark had a couple of weeks off. Probably will be back this weekend. I say probably. I have for the CFL, I have the biggest game around here of the year for the regular season. The Banjo Bowl, Adelia.
Okay.
It's happening on Saturday. So we'll either have it Friday or Sunday. We'll figure out a time for that and let you guys know then.
All right. And you can find me, like you said, back here on not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after for starting 11, 5 p.m. Pacific, live every Tuesday. That there's been a match week. There will be weeks off because of the international breaks. You can also find me at some point in time back on the Open Table with Ferris over on the Entertainment Channel. That's 8 p.m. Pacifics on Fridays. I don't know if we're doing a show this week or not. I'm going to guess not because we haven't talked about it at all yet. So maybe there'll be a surprise Open Table this week. And then again, I'll be on Rewatchers Council next Thursday with Snark and Councilman at Large Brennan Marr to talk about Becoming Part 2, which should be pretty good. Until next time, we are out of here.